Alright, looking at your inequalities review for your test, in this first section, all you have to do is put the variable on the left, which means here, to make this flip around so it's on the left-hand side, all you have to do is flip the sign around. X is bigger than or equal to 125. Same here, x will now be less than negative 7. Number 3, x is greater than 29, and x is less than or equal to 83. You can almost read these backwards. X is less than 83. X is less than 83. Just like so. Okay, the next section is trying to combine these inequalities into one big statement. So like 5 and 8 are the same thing. You want to try to make them look like something you have here in number 6. The way I do that, I pick the lowest of these two numbers, 0 and 46. So 0 here, well, 0, the only way I can write the inequality with 0 first, just like we did up top, is flip the sign around. Okay, so I now have 0 is less than x. Well, now I can finish the rest of it by writing x is less than 46. So this one part should look the exact same, the other guys just flipped around. Let's look at number 8, the exact same way. The lowest number is 37, so I'm going to flip that part around. Get 37 is less than x, less than or equal to x, and then the rest I can just finish writing out x is less than 73. Okay, number 6 and 7, I just need to break them apart. And to do that, it's just like, okay, if I ignore that part right there, what am I going to have? I'm going to have negative 1 is less than or equal to x. Well, I can also then forget that part here and write the rest of the equation out. X is less than 1. And I just write the word and in between them. Same thing here. If I ignore the less than 20 at the end, I'd have 15 is less than or equal to x. And then if I ignore the 15 at the beginning, I have x is less than 20. So I have two different equations, or inequalities I should say, two different statements to work with. Okay? These next ones are just solving each inequality. This first one, I have 4 times x, so I got to divide both sides by 4, giving me x is less than or equal to, that would be 23 here. So on my number line, 0 is over here, 23 is over here. It's going to be filled in circle, and I'm shading to the left. And number 10, I need to first distribute the 6 through. 6x minus 24 is bigger than or equal to 3x. I need to get the x's on the same side. I'd rather subtract 3x. So when I get that, I'll have 3x minus 24 is greater than or equal to 0. Make sure you notice here, those go away, I still have a 0 there. I now need to get the 24 out of here, so I'll add 24 to both sides. So 3x is greater than or equal to 24. Divide both sides by 3 now, because it's 3 times x, so x is bigger than or equal to 8. So on your number line, again, 0, there's 8. Filled in circle because it's bigger than or equal to, and it's going to the right this time. Okay, here, again, distribute the 2 first. 8 is less than 2x plus 8. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. And I'm going to get, those cancel out, well, 8 minus 8 is 0. 0 is less than 2x. Divide both sides by 2 because it's 2x. Well, 0 divided by anything is still 0. So I have 0 is less than x. If I prefer, get the number, or get the x on the right, so x is greater than 0. So there's your 0. I want to shade everything to the right, and it's open circle because of the greater than, not greater than, or equal to. Okay, the next set. Number 12 is probably the toughest one on here. I need to distribute through first on both sides. On this one, I'd have 10 minus 20x. I'll have negative 10x plus 5. Okay, from here, no, that's negative times negative gives you positive. What I'll do from here is I need to see, well, am I going to want to add 10x or add 20x? Really doesn't matter. Let's add 20x to both sides. When I do that, make sure I only add x's with x's. Those guys will cancel. I have just 10 left on the left. And on the right, I have 10x plus 5. I'll now subtract 5 from both sides because I need to get the x by itself. So 5 is less than or equal to 10x. Now I'll divide everything by 10 to get 1/2 is less than or equal to x. I'll flip that around. X is greater than or equal to 1/2. So here's my number line. There's 1/2. Filled in, going to the right because it's greater than. Okay, number 13. I have 15 minus x is bigger than 23 minus 2x. So I'm going to start by adding a 2x to both sides. Again, it doesn't matter if I add an x or a 2x, it's just easier for me to add 2x here. Okay, so this gives me 15 minus x is bigger than 23. From here, I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. Be careful, that's a minus x, but it's a positive 15. So subtract 15 from both sides. That leaves you with, this whole guy stays, negative x is bigger than 8. Divide by negative 1, so x is less than negative 8. I divided by negative, I better flip that sign, which I did. So there's 0, there's negative 8. I'm going to be open and shading to the left. Okay, number 14. I have a compound inequality. All I'm looking though at is this part right here, 3x. Well, to be able to get that by itself, I need to divide by 3, which means I better divide everything by 3. So I get negative 3 less than or equal to x less than or equal to positive 3. So with this one, I have negative 3, I have positive 3. They're both or equal to ideas, so I can use to have them both, and the x is literally in between them, so I shade in between. Okay, last ones. 15 and 16 here. These ones I can just solve separately because they're already in a separate statement. So for this one, I'll subtract 4 from both sides. 3x is greater than or equal to negative 3. Divide both sides by 3 to get x is bigger than or equal to negative 1. For this one here, I'm going to subtract 7 first. Gives me negative 2x is bigger than negative 2. Divide both sides by negative 2. Gives me x is now less than positive 1. Negative divided by negative gives you positive, and the sign flips. And again, this is an and statement. So I have a negative 1, I have a positive 1. This one is saying I will have a closed circle shading to the right. This one says I have an open circle shading to the left. Well, I want, with the word and, I want overlap. So my overlap is what I'm about to draw here in white, which is a closed circle here, an open circle here, and shading where it overlaps in the middle. Last one here. Couple options. Let's do the second part first. I'm going to add 9 to both sides to give you 5x is bigger than 35, which gives you that x is bigger than 7. In this one here, I can either multiply everything by 6 immediately. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. Or I could have added 20 to both sides immediately. Let's do that, because that would cancel out, and that would give me 1/6x is bigger than 1. And then I would have to multiply both sides by 6 to get rid of that fraction, which would leave x is less than 6. If I went straight from the beginning, so this is 1/6x minus 20 is less than negative 19. I could have multiplied everything by 6 right away. That would have given me x minus 120 is less than negative 114. I could then add 120 to both sides and get x is less than positive 6, the exact same way. Okay, now this one is an or statement. So with this one, well, here's 6, I want to shade less than 6, and here's 7, or I want to shade greater than 7. I'm done right there. I don't have to look for overlap or anything. If this was an and statement instead, then this would have been no solution, because there is no overlap. But because it's or, I just leave it just as it is, and we are done. All right, best of luck.